Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving deep into one of the rarest spy novel ever written, The Spies Who Came In From the Cold by John Le Carne. This is not a typical spy story full of glamour, gadgets, or unstoppable heroes. Instead, it's a cold, bleak, and morally complex exploration of what espionage really meant, and during the Cold War. In this video, I will be giving you a complete literary commentary, my personal review, an explanation of the main themes, and a full analysis of the most important characters. So let's get started. The Spy Who Came In From the Cold, published in 1963, is widely considered a masterpiece of espionage fiction. John Le Carre completely changed the genre with this book. Up until then, when many spy novels, especially the highly popular James Bond stories, showed espionage as exciting and glamorous and heroic, but Le Carre offers the exact opposite, a world that is dirty, morally ambiguous, and emotionally exhausting. A world where agents are not heroes, they are pieces, replaceable pieces in a much bigger political game. One of the most powerful aspects of this novel is its psychological realism. Le Carre himself had worked for MI6, so he knew how the world of intelligence really functioned. Because of this, the story feels authentic. There is this trust, secrecy, emotional pressure, and above all, the sense that no one can escape from the system. The protagonist, Alec Lims, is a perfect example of this. He is tired, broken, and used by his own government in a complex plan designed to manipulate the East German Secret Service. Throughout the book, the line between good guys and bad guys becomes very blurry. Both sides, East and West, use brutal tactics. Both are willing to lie, torture, manipulate, and sacrifice innocent people if it helps their goals. Narratively, the novel is short but extremely dense. Le Carre used scripts, dialogues, cold settings, and precise pacings to create a constant feeling of tension. Every sense feels calculated, almost like a chess move. And of course, the famous twist ending reveals the true nature of this operation, exposing the hypocrisy and cruelty of British intelligence service. In the end, the novel is more than a spy story. It's a tragical reflection on loyalty, morality, and the dehumanizing effect of political conflict. Personally, this is one of the most powerful and emotional spy novels I've ever read. Le Carre does something very bold. He refuses to let the reader admire espionage. Instead, he shows us the human damage, the exhaustion, the fear, the loneliness. Alec Lims is an extraordinary character because he looks so, but inside he's falling apart. He's a man who has given everything to his job and receives betrayal in return. The story grips you from the first chapter, and each page increases the suspense until the heartbreaking ending. I found the final scenes especially striking because they show how individuals are destroyed by political strategies for beyond their control. I would recommend this book not only to fans of spy fiction, but to anyone who enjoys intelligent, realistic stories that make you think about human nature. It's impossible to finish this novel without questioning the true cost of loyalty, ideology, and national security. Now let's break down the main themes of the novel, because this is where Le Carre's message becomes extremely clear. First of all, we have betrayal. Betrayal is the heart of the book. Everyone betrays someone. The circus betrays Lemas. Lemas betrays his own values. Muntit betrays the East German system. and the system betrays Liz and Limas, sacrificing them for political convenience. Betrayal is showing not as an exception but as the natural language of espionage. The morality versus the immorality. One of the main questions of the novel is what makes us better than the enemy? And the uncomfortable answer is nothing. Both sides behave in equally and unethical ways. Espionage becomes a moral game where results matter more than human lives. By the other hand, we have Cold War dehumanization. The Cold War reduced people to tools. Agents are expendable, feelings are irrelevant, and the Berlin Wall itself becomes a symbol of separation, fear, and human tragedy. If you remember, if you have read the book, you will see how the Berlin Wall is so important, because that is when one of the protagonists dies. By the another part is the identity and double life. Spies must constantly pretend they lose their real identity because they adopt lies as a part of their daily existence. Limas becomes so deep into her role that he stops knowing who he truly is. Liz, who is not part of this world, is destroyed because she cannot understand the rules of the game. And finally, we found that love as a dangerous weakness. The relationship between Limas and Liz is tender but doomed. Love becomes a vulnerability, something that the spies cannot afford to have. This theme is central to the tragic ending where their feelings become the reason both are sacrificed. Let's take a closer look at the most important characters in the novel. First of all, we have Alec Limas. He is the protagonist, a veteran British agent who is emotionally exhausted after losing his entire network in East Berlin. He's cynical, bitter, and lonely. But he is also human, and his relationship with Liz shows a softer side. Lynch represents the moral collapse of espionage. He believes he's serving justice, but discovers he was only a tool. Liz Gold. Liz is a young librarian and an idealist. She believes in kindness, fairness, and humanity. Her innocence makes her the only truly pure character in the book. And tragically, that is exactly why the system crushes her. She becomes a victim of forces she does not understand. Then we have the Control. Control is the head of the circus, cold, brilliant, and manipulative. He represents the cruelty of the intelligence system, and emotional, strategic, and willing to sacrifice anyone. We also have George Smiley. Unlikely Control, Smiley is quiet, observant, and morally sensitive. He is not a central character here, but he acts like a witness, someone who sees the damage caused by the system and understands its consequence. Hans-Dieter Mundt is a senior East German officer, violent, disciplined, and dangerous. But the big twist is that he is actually working for the British. His loyalty is not ideological, it's strategic. This reveals the deep cynicism of espionage. And finally, we have Fiedler. Fiedler is intelligent, idealistic, and honest in a world where honesty is deadly. He hates Mundt and tries to expose him, but he is outplayed. Fiedler represents a kind of moral idealism that cannot survive in totalitarian systems.